Look, move your hand. What do I mean by that? Look, skill to Lightmare here. Today there's an influx of this culture of protect your peace, set boundaries, cut people off. And if somebody gets mad that you put up a boundary, that just means they were always trying to use you or manipulate you. If they get mad that you are trying to protect yourself, that sounds good. But in reality, what is that? That comes from trauma. Protecting yourself in general comes from threats. That's why people are always like, oh, red flag this. If you see a red flag, this, and that. What if red flags didn't exist? Now, we know this world is corrupt. It will abuse, abandon, traumatize, betray, and do all these things to you. Understood. However, God is our strength, our provider, and our protector, and He means that, and He will do it. He has never failed. So the thing is, do you believe that? So again, I'm going to get into what I mean by move your hand. Firstly, let's look at, why do you protect yourself? You don't believe you are protected. That's a basic logic. Now, why don't you feel you're protected? A lot of times people are introduced to the knowledge of being unprotected or mishandled at an early age. You know, like you're just frolicking as a child, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, however old. And there's just that moment you realize other humans don't have your best interest at heart. You know, the first time you were lied to or abused, and you're like, heartbroken, or you just took a mental note, like, you know what, I don't trust people no more. And that happens very early. Somebody hides something behind their back, steals your ice cream cone, puts your toy somewhere, and tells you, it's lost. And then you find it under a blanket or in a closet, and you're like, man, they lied. They tried to, hoodwink me. And that pains you, and you're like, I'm not going to trust people no more, or I'm not going to do this no more, or I'm going to get people back, or whatever the case, all the way up until, that's low level, somebody stealing your toy. There's people that have bad things happen to them from adults, and I don't really want to get into those things, but we know what can happen with, an uncle or whatever, and a child, or whatever the case may be. So when these things happen, you get introduced to having to cover, having to protect, block, because when those things hurt, if, somebody pokes you, number one, you grab it because it hurts, and then you keep it there to block. Like, hey, I don't want that to happen again. When that happens, it hurts. So there's things people do in your life, and then it hurt, and you start covering that. The thing is, that thing can get infected. It can bleed on you and on other people. And that's what this world is promoting to you. Cover, boundary, protect. That's not what God said at all. He protects. And so there's a time where this world's telling you, protect your peace, set boundaries, look for the red flags, and cut this person off, and block this and block that. Okay, when you go to the actual doctor or the physician after you got a wound or you need surgery, what are they going to tell you? Let me see. Give it here. Move your hand. Move your hand. You can't be on your healing journey for 20, 30, 40 years talking about I'm healing, and making TikToks and reels and Facebook videos, and I'm healing, and my journey. Okay, when does your healing become healed? If God is a healer, then He heals. He's not lying, and He's not a fraudulent person to say things that are not true. So He can heal. Did you give it to Him? Did you move your hand? Did you take away the boundary? So if you are in your Father's house, you're in God's favor. Imagine you're like in a functional household, not a dysfunctional one with abuse or betrayal or anything, a good house, and you're like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. From what I know, a child is not allowed to lock their bedroom door in the house. That's preposterous. You can't lock the door in the house. You'll get in severe trouble. And that's the same thing with God. God does not want you locking your bedroom door in his house of many mansions or his house of favor or his household of faith. He has the front door locked and he has it on guard. If someone were to try to break in as a robber or a thief, do you have the faith to know that that thief would not get from the front door through up the stairs and down the hallway to your room before God gets them or before your father gets them? And you having that faith that you are protected, right? And so if you don't believe you're protected, then you lock the door. That causes problems, because what if someone is trying to bless you, or your father or your little sibling, brother, sister, cousin, whatever, has a gift for you, or they're having a nightmare and they need to be consoled because they're troubled and they may feel like they need to harm themselves, and they try to knock on your door, can't get in. That's you locking your door is not permissible. You have to leave it unlocked in faith and know that you are protected. So all these locks on your heart, the locks on all over you within your own strength, is preposterous. Imagine if when God told Noah, hey, build an ark. There's a flood coming. It's going to rain. And I got you, though. Get in the ark. This is how you build it. Get in there. And God's like, nah, I'm going to use my own strength. And the water and floods and rain came, and Noah just tried to block it with his hands. Instant death. And then you trying to hold up your boundaries with your own strength, your arms are going to get tired. Guess whose arms don't get tired? God's. Secondly, when your arms get tired, you're trying to hold up a boundary, and your arms get tired, and this wall you're holding up, you let go, and then it falls on you and traumatizes you more. Now you're injured and you're blaming everybody. The boundary stuff, leave it alone. The therapists are not telling you the truth from biblical and heavenly wisdom. It takes faith to put your boundaries down. It takes faith to put your hands down and just get in the ark of God in his favor and trust him that the storm, the flood, the thunder, the wind, and the rain won't harm you or end you. Now, imagine with what the devil was trying to do to Job with the permission of God, and these things keep happening to Job. Imagine if Job's like, you know what? I'm tired of these boils and my family dying and all these things. I'm going to put up boundaries. You think those boundaries would be sufficient? No, because God's doing something. It's above you. Like that literally would have been a joke and futile if Job would have said, I see red flags. I'm going to put up boundaries and protect my peace. Do you think that would have worked? Probably not. The boundaries and the protecting the peace and all that is not what God said. And I know it sounds logical to do it. To, hey, you're a troublemaker. You don't mean me no good. You guys, I'm blocking you out. I understand the logic in that. I'm just saying that's not faith. And so we have to operate in faith and leave it to God, because he's a good parent. He's a good father. We are used to people that may not have our best interests, and we feel we need to help God or take things upon ourselves. That's not what you need to do. When you visit the great physician and you have trauma, which is literally an injury, that's what trauma means, is an injury. You can't go into surgery covered up. What are they going to do? Cut your clothes off. Let me see. They're going to shine a light on it. They're going to clean it off and get a good look at it while it's exposed and uncovered and vulnerable. Move your hand. Heal. You can't cover up and block everything out, because that's like you trying to put your hands up with your own boundary when the world is about to get flooded. Get in the ark of God's favor. Favor is the protection to continue. The ark was the protection for Noah. And then what did Noah and his family do from the protection? They continued. The world ended. All the people end, deceased, no longer alive. Noah and his family continued. Favor is the protection to continue. Secured potential. Noah had the potential to replenish the earth. God secured that potential to where Noah was able to replenish the earth because that was God's purpose for Noah. So when you're walking in purpose, you don't have to worry about threats and injuries coming if God is protecting you. Now, it takes faith and a certain mindset. If you are not mature enough to walk in that mindset, pray that God gives it to you versus you taking it upon yourself to protect your own peace and protect yourself and put up boundaries. That's what I have for now. Skill to Lightmare here. Favorite society. Just as a person within the nation of Israel is an Israelite, a person within the favor of God is a favorite. So that's the tribe, that's the DNA, that's the bloodline, that's the ethnicity. Favor. I'm a favorite. You're a favorite. Favoritesociety.com. Grab some merch. Grace and peace. Peace.